Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show this evening is AK and the legend that is the Bridgeman. Evening, AK.
Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Bridgeman, the techie team and everybody that's listening.
Evening, Bridge.
Oh, good evening to yourself, Oxshire and UAK, and of course the techie boys in the background. Can you say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, oh boy, I'm depressed. I'm depressed with it all. But what can I say? The march is on. Time marches on. Let's look forward to Wednesday night. Let's look forward to it. And everybody, please, remember, we're the Rangers. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
That intro there was Southside. Did you detect a change in his voice, a wee bit of a tone? Did you pick it up, AK?
No, enlighten me.
I'm just thinking he sounds a wee bit more cocky with maybe with what
Oh, a wee bit more upbeat.
Aye,
He's starting to get result. Oh, you're probably right then. All of a sudden he's turned into John McCrory of the football world.
If
Very
you've got
good.
the right betting apps, people have made the right few quid. Did you partake and make it? Did you make a small profit yourself, mate, or did you? I know you're one of bus man.
Aye, no, I actually did a wee bit. So thank you very much, Southside. And also did another one up yesterday. So the bookies are getting smacked left, right, and centre.
Well, you know me, AK, I do the arithmetic, yeah. So yes, thank you, yeah, thank you. But for the record, what I will say is, you never get 6 results out of 6, yeah.
No, you're very true. And by the way, that over the course of the 2 years he's been doing it, I'm still doing about 1,500.
Oh, 2 year, 2 year.
I will. 2 years will be fully them.
It's 4 year.
Is it 4 years? I wish it was 2 then.
You'd be a lot better off. Anyway, it's good that we can laugh. Right, okay. We've got to look at yesterday's game. People are welcome to join us. I think what we'll do is we'll get the phone lines open, AK, yeah? Yeah, and then we'll
That
accept the
sounds
game.
good to me.
People are welcome to join us and give their point of view. Yeah, so look, let's hear from you at any time. Come and join us. Everybody's got to see A, the game different, and B, where we are different. People are entitled to their point of view. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, the actual game yesterday, we started okay. I don't know if you two agree with that. We started okay. There wasn't much in the game. We had opportunities. Big Chermiti was showing up well. We had a lot of space out on the right flank. Anytime we could manage to pass the ball there, and manage in capital letters. And then we got the goal. Big Chermiti got it back for Fernandez stealing in front of the boy. Played it in Chermiti, who was causing them problems. He burst through. I don't know really what he done, but he just ended up in front of the goal. Had to toe poke it towards the far corner. It rebounded, and Mikey Moore was left with a tap in. AK.
That was a great start to the game. At that point, I thought we were deserving it. Chermiti had, even though we're still early doors, you could see him and Trusty was winning the physical battle with him. He was causing them all sorts of problems. He didn't look comfortable at all. Picking him up, as you say, Mikey Moore followed his run in and the tap in the back of the net, and it was a good start to the game, Knox.
So we get to start, Bridge, and we'll come to maybe the selection and all that after we've done the game. We get a good start, Bridge. Nice goal. You're thinking, okay, settle down. We were on tap, and you're saying, come on, hopefully get another one, take the sting out of us and see where we go. We're on tap. And then we start skiing the ball with Bridgeman. The feeling of our passing comes into play all the time, and we looked very short. down the right-hand side, Bridgeman.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. You're right yourself and AK are right, and not everybody else that was the Rangers fan watching that. We did very, very well. We got ourselves on top in the game itself, and eventually, I thought we played quite well, to be honest. Even Tav played not too bad initially, but I'm afraid we got the goal, and by the way, I thought it was a smashing goal. I thought I was that pleased for having Mikey Moore. He was doing a lot, causing a lot of problems, and I thought Chermity at that point in time was the best player on the park or best Rangers player on the park for me. Chermity absolutely tormented that guy at centre half, absolutely tormented him, and I thought we did well. Got a good goal, and as you say, within 10, 15 minutes, God.
Some of the pressure we put myself under, AK, it's unforgivable. The passing, the decision making, you know, we will no go long when we've got a big centre forward. I'm not saying I want us to punt the ball up the park, but there's times for all, mate, and we give the ball away cheaply, and that's how we concede the equaliser. It starts with Tav out in the right hand side. There's no real danger. It doesn't make his pass well, and it wasn't the first time we've done that. The ball then gets moved to the other side. They work it inside. We'll talk about the system again later on. So there's a runner, makes a run into the box. Nice pass with the boy. That was all he's done, by the way. That boy, big guy, who got a hook, he looked well out his depth. And then we played it inside. Fernandez and Tucci, between them, one of them's got to go with the runner, I think. Fernandez has either got to cross and deal with it, or preferably Tucci sniffs the danger and goes with it, because that's part of his job. And for that, then the controversy starts. AK.
There was a collection of errors. It's another goal it's endemic to how we've been, sucker punched and self-destruct Butternocks, as you say. We're losing the ball, we're not passing it well, we're not picking up runners, they're letting us drop in behind, and we're not cutting out the ball at source for it to come into the danger area in the first place. So there's a collection of errors there. It ends up in the back of the net, as you say. But the controversy is the ruling that Celtic had a player right in front of Jack Butland, and we got a goal chopped off at Dundee for very similar just a few weeks ago. And that was it Diamondi that was meant to be in the eye line of the goalkeeper, wasn't anywhere near him. This guy was standing right in front of Jack Butland. According to the IFAB rules, that should have been disallowed, but no, Mr. Walsh and Mr. Beaton in VAR, goal stands, and it's one each.
I'm going to tell you something, but in that situation, in my opinion, the linesman's got to put his flag up. There's three guys standing offside. Yeah? There's three guys standing offside. Right, they're right in front of the goal. One of them maybe just to the right, well, the left, depending on where you're looking, I suppose. To Butland's left, yeah? There's three players in front of him, two in front of the goal. Yeah, they're offside. So when the goal actually went in, I thought, oh, this might get turned over. I did initially thought that. I don't know what your take on it was, Bridge.
100%, agree with you 100%. I thought Tav screwed up once again, very poor pass, straight to them, and they swung the ball over. And
the initial fault came for Tav, mate.
That's correct. I'm saying Tav screwed up and trying to pass a ball, and I don't know why he didn't do it right, because he's a professional football player, surely could sit behind his own players. However, he didn't, and the guy managed to hit the ball right across the park. And of course, we weren't expecting that. And then before you know it, there's three of them going down there. And what a lovely pass the boys put in, and the guy got across it. But just at the time the guy got the cross in, there's three players there, and at least two of them are in an offside position. At least two of them in offside position under the old rules. Let me say that, and under the old rules. And for me, any time when a team's attacking and they've got players virtually a yard off the goal line, they're offside. No, it doesn't take a magician.
I've not seen. I would like to see. I've not seen it yet, and I'll apologise to everybody. I haven't watched it back because it's not what I do. That means I'm in a huff, yeah. But I haven't watched it back. I'd like to see what decision the linesman does. In my eyes, he's got to put his flag up. He's looking right across at it and sees that the players are offside. And then it goes to VAR. He's done his job, yeah.
Yep.
Just,
Did you-
sorry. Oh, sorry.
On you go, AK.
No, I hadn't seen it, but I'm not that wee bit with yourself, a wee bit sick, the things. But I've seen some replays, but I've never noticed it. But I think Frank Connor was the linesman on the other side. But it's an obvious thing when you're looking across and you see green and
It wasn't
white
close,
shirts
mate.
there, you know.
It wasn't close,
No.
the offside.
No, the two of them are basically standing on the goal line. One of them was directly in front of Jack Butland. Now, it's him in material. If you think that Jack Butland's going to save it or no, the fact he's in
By
the
the way,
driving.
that's up for debate, isn't it?
No, I don't. He's not a great rate of saving anything. But no, it's immaterial. It's just the IFAB ruling again, and they didn't even consider that was taken into effect. It should have been disallowed, but it wasn't. But hey, this is the decisions the officials have made on a consistent basis against us for a long while, as we've highlighted.
The first half, Peter, but there was a few things I want to highlight now every time I think about it. There was a Chimeti booking, yeah? First foul, nothing really in it, booked. It was a foul, I'm not arguing it was a foul, booked. Influenced the game, big man's having a good game, part of his game's physicality, booked. There's a few pulls of the jersey, I think 2 in the first half. Yeah, automatic yellow cards, not even booked. And then we have the big moment. I've got to be honest here because I think I said it yesterday, but initially I didn't see that as the decision. But when I seen it at half time, that tackle, it's a red card. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes, yeah? It's a red card. Bridgman.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, a terrible tackle. Absolutely shocking. You know, and they get away with it all the time, these people, you know, all the time. And I'll hark back again, what I like doing is to wee Mount Vernon, and that's what he said. It's easier not to give Rangers a decision. It's easier. And you know, if they'd given Rangers that, mate, let's say they'd given him a red card, you can just imagine with the pressure the officials would be on it, and the SFA. They would all be under massive, massive pressure because of it. And that's what it means to them. That's how much a decision against the a decision for the Rangers, a key decision, and if that goes to Rangers, mayhem and madness all over Scottish football, and you'll get people like us, but from the other side, worse than us, from the other side, causing absolute problems and terrible, terrible things getting written in the press. The Rangers got Celtic a man sent off, and it wasn't even a foul. That's what they would say. It wasn't even a foul. For me, it's a Stonewall.
We came on here 8K after, I don't know who was on, but with the Asgard one and the League Cup game, yeah? The Asgard one in the League Cup, mate. We like that. Don't think he meant it. Series foul play where his fit is. You're going to get yourself sent off for that. That guy came in, slid in, and I'll tell you, I didn't notice it in the initial thing, the initial reaction, yeah. And yellow cards out, so that takes the sting out of it. Then it goes to VAR, and they think that's all right, that challenge. When you see it in the replay, yeah, and then you've got the co-commentator at half time trying to say that the rest of the panel who are watching the game have got it right. Coincidence? Are still bitter for a certain game in 2003. I don't know, AK.
Aye. Listen, when I seen it in real time, I actually thought it was a decent challenge. It was a strong challenge for Alistair Johnson. But when you see it from the other angle and you see the contact that he makes in his leg, actually he meant that. He meant to do Mikey Moore, because after the contact on the ball and then his ankle, he actually extended his leg again. On the same motion, so he meant to do him. In fact, he actually got done with a challenge just the previous week against Hibs in the early part of the game. A very, very similar challenge. The guy didn't mean that, but he caught him in the exact same part. He's down holding his ankle, thinking it's broke. All the usual McFadden and all them, oh, that's a leg breaker, blah, blah, blah. They weren't saying that at half time. funnily enough, but he knew that, the innocence in his face, when he's going, "Who, me, yellow card, that was a good tackle." It was a straight red, Ox. It's ridiculous. But again, 39 minutes into the game, that was, he gets a red card there. It's one each. We've got 50 minutes to go and beat them. It's a game changer.
But hypothetically, mate, he could have got sent off, and you could get beat 5-1. You'll never be able to answer that. Or we could have lost a goal 2-1 and lost in the last minute. But you become favourites, and goals and sending offs, they change football games. And I think, in reflection, it was a red card. I think we're pretty fair on here, Bridge. Well, maybe you're not the right one to ask, Bridge. I think we're pretty fair. If one of the players deserves a red card, we'll say it, yeah?
Absolutely, 100%. I never saw any of our players doing a really bad tackle at all. I saw a good fight in the second half, and I thought, well done, your left back, getting tore right into them, and a big melee, and I think he was the only person booked in it. There was about 6 players involved.
Oh, that's another thing. I'm going to come to that bit.
Oh, sorry, pal.
By the way, we did do, no, I'll come to it, but you'll like us. We did do a lot of bad tackles, but there's nobody else involved, AK.
Aye, true, aye. The melee, yep, with Romans, wasn't it?
So what you're saying, AK, the point you're making, potentially, it could have been 1-0 and them down to 10 men.
Yes, if VAR does its job, so VAR again have a massive influence in a game that could decide the title, the same as they did the night before with not giving Hearts 2 blatant penalties. So they're having
I've not seen the 2 of them, mate, but I've seen one that looked like a penalty to me, yeah. It looked like a penalty. Yeah. So what you're saying is, because it's no VAR it's doing it, is it? It's the individuals running VAR.
Correct.
And
Ox, I don't know if you picked up on it as well, but seemingly Martin O'Neill had a nice wee cosy chat with Willie Collum during the week, you know. Funny that as well, isn't it?
I wonder what they bumped into each other. Right, okay. So we go in at half time. We're quite comfortable with performance. We start the second half all right. Let's just say for the first 5 minutes, approximately, maybe even 7 minutes. And then roughly the same time as last week, we lose a bad goal. We failed to clear our lines. Chukwani, I don't know what he was trying to do, if you remember that bridge man, where he's trying to mess it clear, and then they get the ball. Because it's near enough an identical, it's not quite the same, but it's near enough identical goal to Shankland's goal, down the right-hand side, gets to the byline, the boy cuts it back, the boy puts it in. Our centre-halves are sleeping, in my opinion. We don't defend it well at the wing. We've gave it away cheaply. We've been at panic stations all of a sudden, at 6s and 7s, and we're 2-1 down for we 1-0 up. Bridge.
Yeah, I think their goal, the one you're talking about, that was really a good goal, to be perfectly honest. These are the goals that we should be doing.
It's a decent goal from their point of view, but
I'm saying that, yeah. I'm just saying, as a football fan, you see it and you think, oh my goodness, if it's against the Rangers, well, it's a murder pause. But truthfully, everything they did was good. Everything we did was poor. We couldn't. We seem to freeze. Our game seems to freeze when we're waiting a cross ball coming in, and there's nobody seems to go for it. Whether they can see it or not is another thing, right enough, you know. But you know, there's not much you can say.
Again, AK, in our combination of errors, we start kicking the ball there, we get away, it's shooting my right-hand side. If he's down to the touchline, he gets cut back. Tav does the influence, and I'm sure Tav will be mentioned once we look back at the game. And then Fernandes, for me, doesn't sniff danger. He's got to go with the man and make sure that he doesn't get a strike before he start blocking shots, because we're centre-halves. We're decent football players, but they've got to learn how to defend also, AK.
100%, and you've no mentioned a guy there that was also culpable, Big Giga. Went into a space where there were nobody there to go and try and press the ball. He got caught in no man's land, and he was an R1 that could have been tracking Maeda into the area. But again, Tavernier caught Slaton. We didn't follow the runner, gets in behind us, and that's where Celtic hurt us, just the same as what Hearts did at Tynecastle there last week too. But a poor goal from your point of view, Oxy. You can't dress it up.
It was pretty much the same as the Hearts' second goal last night. It was like a carbon, not exactly, but it was close to a carbon copy, mate.
Aye, cutting it back in behind Tavernier, cutting it back into a different area. It was probably right into the danger area, but Maida sniffed it out and we were caught sleeping. And aye, all of a sudden we're 2-1 down. And then they've got their tails up and the stadium's bounced and we're flat. At that point, I think they could have just walked off the park there and then, the way the attitude of the players was.
So we lost the third one, and let's be honest, we'll not go into too much because it was one of the goals that scored now and then. The actual finish itself, we'd have been delighted if we scored it. It's not up there with Chilwani's goal. It was because it's an overhead kick and it ends up. He couldn't catch it any better, and it takes a goal out of the thing and he puts it right in the corner. So, look, and you're right. We were at 6s and 7s, couldn't pass the ball. The midfield had fell away. With guys on the park still at that time, he'd hardly played any football. And I mean, Ant-Man, I felt actually sorry for him when I reflected last night. So we then went 3-1 down, and I've got to be honest, I actually feared the worst then. I actually feared the worst and thought, no, this could get worse. We got a foothold in the game, and pretty much for the next 35 minutes, we were the team on the ascendancy without doing a lot. And therein, you've seen some of your problems. We cannot create and we can't score at the right time. Because for all the balls and all the positions we get from various players, we created very little. Wajowski had a good effort. He was very unlucky, AKA, when that one that came off the bar. I know it was very late. And obviously, Big Chiniti had one, he burst through. And as you're going to try and put it in the other corner so the defenders and the forwards rushing in can maybe put it in the net. But we had a lot of play. Gasman, I don't think he would buy anybody last night. Young Mikey Moore tried really hard. And, he's got to learn. I've said this before on the show. Mikey gets away from people and it's making that pass and releasing the ball. The decision making, it's a difference between good players and great players, Bridge, isn't it?
100%. And we've seen him doing it. I've seen him doing it before, making a lovely pass and making a chance for somebody to put the ball in the net. And I watched the boy and I thought, my goodness gracious, he's going to storm this game. And then he just disappeared a wee bit, And yeah, I'm saying that. I think we just lost our midfield. The midfield lost the game. Never got a tackle in first ball, second ball tackle, nothing. And virtually the whole of the second half, to be honest. But I think with the defence pressing up for a big chunk of the second half, that moved everybody up the park, which made a big difference because they weren't pressing us in our half then, So I thought we were going to get lucky. I thought we just one lucky goal here, and it gets us back,
Aye, we're right back in it. Aye, and they could sense that as well with 20 minutes to go. EK, but I'm not saying we were playing outstandingly, but we were the team in the ascendancy, and you need to make chances. You get opportunities. Our set pieces were poor. Our crosses into the box were poor. Our decision making for trying to make chances, because we didn't make that many. I'm not kidding anybody on, but that was all poor. AK.
Oh, it was, but you look at the stats here, they're actually pretty similar. Even though we get beat 3-1, I mean, we both had 9 shots at goal. Celtic had 4 on target, we had 3. Big chances, they had 3, we had 2. We dominated the corners, but done very little with it. Listen, it just looked like a team that was that had ran its course and it knew it had ran its course. There was nothing there motivating them to go and win the 3 points, which is rings alarm bells for us as Rangers supporters. We know the lack of quality that we've had in the squad because we've pinpointed it most of it all season, but we were on a good run of wins to put ourselves back into contention to win the title, and then it's just collapsed through whatever reasons in the last 3 games. But since I had a wee look back in the results here, since February this year, we dropped 17 points in the league.
We've dropped 9 of them in the last 3 weeks, mate.
Exactly, I know, but the draws is kind of killed us. You know, the 2 each, we spoke about it, 2 each for Celtic, 2 each for Livy.
We got it back into Marine Horns. We got it back into Marine Horns.
Mhm.
We're going to be happy where we were and where we got to. Yeah, there's frustrations, a points trapped. We got it back in Marine Horns. 5 games to go. You win the 5 games, you win the league. And we haven't. We've not. In fact, it's even worse, mate. We've took nothing out of 9. The rest before that in this mini league means nothing. We go there and got ourselves back in it, and then we'll blow it. And I think that's where some of the anger, the upset, the people frustration, whatever you want to call it, yeah, comes through, because we got ourselves back in the race, and we hugged it up. Livingston, you're right, stupid 2 points. Falkirk at Ibrox, I can't remember what day that was. Stupid 2 points, 2-0 up against that mob at Ibrox, and then they play again another half. We didn't play an AK, and that's pretty been the picture. The last 3 weeks. First half against Motherwell, poor. Second half, okay. First half against Hearts, okay. Second half, poor. This time, first half, okay. Second half, well, first half for the second half, atrocious, mate. Second half, atrocious. We've not played for 90 minutes. We can't seem to go to the midfield. We're losing goals like Red Sarah. The stats before it, the amount of goals we've lost, I don't think that really matters. What matters is the last 3 games, we've lost 8 goals, mate. And if you want to throw Falkirk in and make it the last 4, we've lost 11 goals. 11 goals in 4 games when we're at the edge. So there's something wrong with your setup, something wrong with your system, something wrong with your personnel, something wrong with the coaching, and maybe something wrong with the selection. Now, it might be a combination of everything, and you might be having to select who you've got and what you can do. I've not got all the answers, but when you watch that and you see the defending as bad as it's been in these 4 games, for different reasons, I know the wind at Falkirk, I get all that. That changes the game of football. But we've not cut Wayne's out of close, Bridgeman. Our defending has been appalling.
Yeah, I agree with you there, 100%. And everybody's got to say the same thing. We are woeful. But, you know, I personally, I think we'll get poor players in key positions that shouldn't be there. But maybe they're all go it. But we really are a very, very poor team passing the ball, particularly when we're getting pressed. We end up guarding nobody. We've got people back into good positions, and then all of a sudden the opposition team moves a wee bit, changes it, and we don't know what to do. We can't pick them up, and you get maybe the opposition having 8, 10, 12 passes, and before you know it, they're in our box. That's exactly what happens to us, and you probably see it every week. That's what happens to us, and somehow or other, somebody gets a foot in and pushes the ball back to the goalkeeper or something like that. Other than that, we're wasting time out in the pitch. We've got to be able to gather the ball and move as a team, get up the park again. That's what we've got to do. I can't believe it.
Everybody's getting their own take on where we are as a team, as a club, as a football club, where we're going, what we're going to do, what they think of the manager. Some people have made their mind up for day one. Right, I don't think we've had enough time or enough one day to see where this guy goes. Is he the guy for the job? We'll only know in hindsight, AK, right? You know, obviously I get all the frustration the day, but if you take just yesterday in isolation, mate, I thought he got it wrong with a couple of his selections, mate.
Listen, of course it is, but you listen to your support, and there's a lot of them been crying, why is Barron not getting a chance? Why is Ant-Man not getting a chance? Well, now you've seen why. You know, he's working with a squad of players there that 80% of them, probably more than 80%, isn't his players. So he's been thrown into a position where he's, you know, it's all that this has been a problem for a load of years now, Ox. It's not just Danny Roll that's had the issue. You know, Clement had the issue, Bill had the issue, Gio had the issue, but they were working with better squads than what we've had recently. The last few years, particularly if Bill came in and just absolutely destroyed everything that Gerrard had built, our recruitment since then has been atrocious. you look at the players that started there yesterday, you look at the players in the squad, the strength and depth, and compare it to the team that took to Seville, what was that, 4, 5 years ago just? They wouldn't get a game. Most of them wouldn't get a game in a Steven Gerrard or a Gio Van Bronckhorst team. That's how bad we've regressed we are. And we've spent a lot of money, but it's a lot of money on other guys' philosophy and thoughts about the whole team. So Danny Rowe's been landed with that. He's managed to get a tune out them to an extent, putting them back into a title chase that they were never expected to be in. And by the way, there was contributing factors as well. Celtic obviously imploding with their manager change, but Hearts has lost a lot of points in recent weeks as well. But they're still top of the league. But now it just comes down to what happened that has changed so drastically in the last 2-3 weeks. We go away to Spain. What happened there? We came back. Tavernier's announcement, has that got something to do with it? Names no, for sure. But I don't think it's helped one bit. So what is the psychology of the team? Who's doing what and saying what in the dressing room? We're asking disappears yesterday. Nobody knows why. Danny Rowe says it was an injury, but is it though, Ox?
I'm hearing a hamstring. I don't think it's fair to speculate, mate. I'm hearing it's a hamstring. But if it is the old muscle, it's not the first one that somebody's feigned a hammy in football, mate. It might not be. That might be speak, but we can't speculate. Yeah, if he's injured, if they're saying he's injured, I want to take the guy at his word. I don't want to call him a liar. I might know I liked him playing Tab and Ant-Man yesterday, but I don't want to call the guy a liar. I don't think that's fair, AK, on the manager, because it might be, you might be 100% right, and I might be wrong, but we're speculating. It's all hearsay, you know.
I know. I just think he's firefighting with a lot of stuff there that we don't know about, Ox, and I think that's unfair as well.
A lot of things going on that we don't know about. Just the selection, Ant-Man. When I started thinking about it last night on the show, I mean, to me, he doesn't go to the park. And a quick conversation with Alberti, and his wife went, he was laughing, and he went, maybe it was only 30, he gave everybody else a chance. It was he had to give somebody else, because Scove Olsen's performance, Gassama, has been, as it has game, and you see that, but come on, he doesn't want to go by a man. And also we know that he's never been that productive on the right. He's had moments, but no compared to on the left. Could you have played Asgard out there? Watched him out there. I don't know if he's the answer there. And all of a sudden you're scratching your head thinking, exactly who went today. Tavernier yesterday as well, starting when Sterling's on the bench. We know how they play. We know they've got fast players. And Tav's legs are gone. So the life of me, Bridge, I don't understand it.
Difficult to believe, isn't it? Why are we playing Tav? Only the manager can tell you. We know, you could see it for the last 4 seasons, it's getting slower and slower. And it's not just he's getting slower. His whole attitude towards the game is changing. You can't take too much away from him because of what he's done in the past. But my goodness gracious, the manager obviously has got his hands tied. He's got to be playing Tav because he's the most experienced player we've got in the club. That's probably the truth. And why is he going to waste him? Well, because we don't have anybody else to play in reality. And you can see that when you bring someone like Sterling on. It's not the most graceful person in the whole world, So we've got a couple of players like that. You mentioned Ant-Man there, greatest respect to the guy. He might be not a bad wee player in a different team. He's not a bad wee player, but he is a bad wee player when he plays for us. He doesn't seem to have it, and I don't think he's very brave. Let's put it that way. I don't see him being very brave, and there's a few of them in our team like that. No bravery.
Listen, I'm scratching my head, AK, with the man one, because we hear, and I say it all the time, I sound a wee bit like a broke record, that Horace Match Fitness, he's not played. He's played one game against Queen's Park since the 30th of November. How is he going to be fit to play at the tempo of that game, mate? If they talk about this match fitness that they're going about, yeah?
Was that Ant-Man you talking about still? Yeah, Ox, yeah. Listen, exactly, I know. And He went away in a trip there with Finland to New Zealand, all places in the international break as well, and he's no featured since. But listen, you're talking about a guy that is also, I think he's the highest assist rate in the Dutch Eredivisie, and alerted, our previous regime to go and get him, that it would be a good acquisition for him. I mean, the first time that we've seen him, I think, he looks a player, but he's no featured for whatever reason. Again, something's kind of happened there for them, because Gassama has been awful. Asgard's been awful. We've sent away Finlay Curtis to try and give Skov Olsen again. Skov Olsen's been awful. There's been a lot of poor decisions there, and guys that's getting paid plenty of money just hadn't stepped up when we needed them. I think Nadiri's a big miss, as well for me.
Mate. I agree, and I was saying that about Danny Rowe. When you actually look at it, our squad is very, very limited. I've got a problem with the two selections yesterday. If Raskin's injured, we're really short midfield, really short. So what else is he meant to do? You've got the personnel he plays in there. Who else you got? They three plus Asgard and Berjami. That's about it to play in a different part of the midfield. Two of them aren't really defensive minded at all. They play in that system that we play, the 4-2-3-1. So we're really struggling in there. We're short of bodies. We have been all season. You can see it coming home to roost. We didn't fix all the fires at the start of the year, and you're now starting to pay. At the start of the season, you're now starting to pay a price for it, because some of the players have been very, very poor and don't get in the squad. But we're always short all season in midfield. And if you think about it, Rothwell went out the door just when he came in. It didn't give us any more numbers, Bridget. It just gave us the same numbers, changed the personnel.
Absolutely. I think you were talking about Asgard there, as we've done in the past. Asgard is not a Rangers player. Sorry to say, I think most people would agree. He looks quite good sometimes, a bit flash, but his delivery of the ball, apart from one fabulous free kick he did and he put it in the net, he's never really done that again. I don't think he's created any great danger with free kicks. I saw him taking 2 corner kicks and yesterday, absolutely pathetic. One of them I never even got past the first player. So all of these things matter. Now, they might not matter to the person that's taking the corner kick, but it matters to the fans. And I've seen Tabs doing the same thing. Tabs wants to run and take all the throw-ins and all that nonsense, So I was pleased when the Romans come in. I think he's maybe the most quality player that we've got in the squad at the moment. A really good player.
Yeah. I didn't think he did a fantastic game yesterday, but nobody did, Kate. But I thought he done okay.
No, well, he's a left back, isn't he? He's limited for skill and ability. He's not going to make a massive influence for that position. He needs other players to work with him. But Celtic would know that he's a threat, and they would press up on him and restrict his time that he got in the ball. But Romans is the qualities are there, but he can't excel. You've got to play as a unit. You've got to play as a team, and we just look disjointed all over the park, and nobody can put their finger on why. But it's another season that's petered out into failure. It's another trophyless season, Ox, and that's the frustration, anger, and everything that's coming out in the Rangers support, and quite rightly so. I'm the same myself.
There's one moment, and you can't blame Danny Rowe. It sort of summed the squad up for us. Big Fernandes, he's an entertainer, isn't he? He plays at centre back like the Brazilians did back in the day, and he's wanted to do things. And obviously, you've been happening with it. He done a run up the park yesterday, and he got away from it. And there was a simple pass to Mikey Moore in the touchline, who had a good lot of space to move on. And maybe Fernandes could have carried his run onto the box, that big frame running out of the box. He miscontrols it because he doesn't make the pass. I think he'd maybe slid in. I'm not sure if he got booked or no. If he'd have just passed the ball and kept moving, none of it happens, and we make the right decision. And we do that, small things like that a lot. We put ourselves under pressure consistently. I'm not going to go at him for that incident. It happens in a game of football, I get that, but it's highlights what we do. If you think back to the Falkirk game, Chikwani, I think it was for the second goal, had a bit twice to clear it and kicked it the wrong way. But decision making at times, collectively, and no individually, is awful, awful. And then that leads to teams getting chances. And if you get chances and your goal isn't making a lot of saves, Bridge, you score goals against us.
Oh, aye. I mean, we gave them a lot of chances yesterday with poor play. And not poor play in front of goal, our own goal. Poor play in front of their goal. And that one you're talking about, Big Fernandez, he went away up there 2 or 3 times yesterday. And I'm shouting, I'm literally, my wife will tell you, I'm screaming at the telly, what are you doing up there? Just get to somebody can play football. And of course, the guy's not a bad dribble when he's feeling good. But he runs into 5 players. You know, one of them hits him, another one bundles, and so on and so forth. And before you know it, he's on his bum or he's staggering about somewhere, and they're away with the ball. And that's exactly what happened to him yesterday on that one that you just mentioned. It's a sin because, you know, as I've said I have, and I can tell you, it's murder Paulus trying to sprint 75 yards back to defend. You'll never get there because the ball's away past me, wing gone, you know. No, I'm not going to up there. So it's past the centre line. No, just stop in your own half and leave it. That's what I ever did when I got a bit older. Nah, I know how difficult it is.
That's the way he plays. He's a forward-thinking centre half, and there's such a thing you get. And by the way, I'm not going to pop at him for that moment it cost us a game. All I'm saying is that kind of moment highlights how we get ourselves in problems, AK.
Aye, it's self-destruct again, because if he loses the ball in that area of the park, he's left our whole back line exposed, because Giga would be basically sitting there himself unless somebody is the intelligence, let's say Chikwani, to drop that back deeper just to cover that hole that the Fernandez is just left. But they probably didn't. and that is part of the problem. There's even now there's still certain players that are hiding in the team. They're not playing as a team. They're not playing as a unit. Allbear spoke about it. Tavernier just does what he wants sometimes. Raskin just does what he wants sometimes. And all that just, you know, leads to a disjointed performance, which we've seen so many times. We've got away with it to an extent because we've outscored a lot of the teams that we've been up against. But when we're losing that amount of goals, Ox, we're going to come unstuck sometime. Because our forwards just can't keep outscoring. So it's been a crux of problems. But we're back to the same old adage again. The season's collapsed and everybody's finger pointing and starting to lay blame at people's door, and where do we go again? It's going to be another rebuild, and so the merry-go-round goes round.
I think the rebuild was there whether we won these 5 games or we didn't, mate. When the number of players that was going to be moving on, the rebuild job was going to be there. You know, if Cornelius is gone, obviously he's contributed very little. Aaron's is gone, contributed very little, if we're honest, yeah. Did you get back? Did you get some good games? I don't. He's got big assets, but he's raw, mate. He's raw. So there's 3 players on loan. Then you've got Mikey Moore, and you've got Scott Wilson. I missed any out.
The rest of the team.
Magoma, sorry. Young Magoma, who's a young boy. There's 7 loan players. So before you go, you throw in, obviously, Tab's going to go retiring or moving to another club, whatever he chooses to do. There's 8. You know, that's without anybody moving on, mate. Without anybody moving on, because let's be honest, the manager doesn't fancy a lot of them, does he? Because they're never on the park, Bajami, etc., etc., etc. He doesn't fancy them, and where their contract is, it might make sense for them to move on. For us, but the hard bit, AK, is getting them to move on where it suits us and no them, or suits both parties, because we pay a lot of wages for guys that are doing very little.
Absolutely, and here we go again. We're stuck with players through previous managers, through previous regimes, because of the contracts that they've been given, the pay that they're on. They're not easy to move on. You know, it's easier for Hearts to to move on guys that's owed maybe $2,000 a week and on a 2-3 year contract than it is that somebody's on 10, 15, 20 plus grand a week. You know, you're not caring, they're not getting a game. We've seen it, but other clubs have been stung like that before. But they can outbuy their contract and move them on that way. I mean, Andrew Cavanagh's put a hell of a lot of money into Rangers now, and not seen a good return off it. Our performance in Europe were poor, our coefficiencies dropped. You know, so there's a lot of concerns about what's actually the strategy now and what he decides to do. Whether he sacks Danny Rowe, you know, it's immaterial to me. I support Rangers, not any individuals.
Oh, managers, players come and go. Managers, players come and go. Yeah. Yep. So, but it's whatever Andrew Kavanagh decides. That's what we must back him. We must trust him, because it's the only way we'll get so any relevancy, success. I mean, Arsenal have stuck with Arteta for 6 years, you know, and there's a lot of disgruntlement there. When you've got season after season and you only got an FA Cup to show for it. Jurgen Klopp was the same at Liverpool, but they could see a kind of direction and improvement about what he was trying to do. We had the same with Gerrard, but he got given 3 years, but we could see that improvement and where we were trying to go. But since Gerrard, it's been Gio, it's been Bale, Clement, Barry, you know, Russell Martin, and now Danny Rowe, and it's just we need to try and stick with somebody to give them a proper chance. You're not going to fix this our one transfer window. Yourself said it, Southside said it. So whoever it is, we've got to try and, you know, support, give them time, patience, and cash. It's the only way we're going to get out of this rut. And you need a bit of luck, mate. You need a bit of luck with your recruitment, mate. You do. You know, just whether the character of the individuals and injuries, you know, genuine injuries, not the made up hamstring ones, you know what I mean? Well, we've been unlucky in that sense as well, Ox, with Romans and the dairy. They did make an improvement, but they dipped out the team at the wrong time for Danny Rowe. Arguably, mate. Obviously, you can never answer that. They could have been playing and we could have lost by more, but when you look at when they were playing, they looked a better side. Yeah, but we're still losing goals, Bridge. And I've got a theory on it. But I think what we could do is we maybe hear from Big Fernandes and hear what he's got to say after yesterday and hear what his thoughts were, if that's all right with you, gentlemen. Go for it. Yeah. Let's hear from Big Fernandes.
That's it confirmed that Rangers can no longer win the title. You're going to be finishing this season in third. How does it make you feel hearing that?
Look, we're disappointed. We know that we should have been done better in the last 3 games. But look, we feel sorry to the fans. But look, I think now we got to pick ourselves up. There's 2 games to go. We need to win these 2 games for the fans. And next season comes and we have a good fight.
A lot of people have questioned the mentality of the group. Do you think that's a fair question given the fact the team have lost all 3 post-split fixtures?
This is going to happen when you lose 3 games in a row. I feel like when it comes to the point where you could potentially win a title, people are going to question the mentality. But look, I don't think it's anything to do with the mentality. I just think there's moments where we need to do better. And sometimes this happens in football and sometimes you can't come under duress and we just didn't come through it. So I wouldn't say it's anything to do with mentality.
You take the lead, you're looking strong at that point, and yet it kind of crumbles. How do you assess that?
It's hard, you know, because like I feel like we're in a good position. We took the lead early and then we let it go back and I think we kind of slumped down again a bit. But it's hard. Certain things like this happen in football and I feel like maybe for me personally, as I'm a centre-back, I need to bring my team up. I need to talk to my players, keep us going, maybe slow down the game in moments, maybe speed up the game. And I feel like maybe that's something I need to improve on to get the better out of my teammates. And look, we've lost this game, but there's still opportunities next season and there's still 2 games we can still win. So I feel like that's something we need to do.
Manuel, we went into the post-split fixtures in great shape after a fantastic win against Falkirk. What's the issue here?
I couldn't pinpoint an issue. I just feel like, I can't say we've been unlucky, but I feel like maybe we needed to have a bit more fight, I would say, but I couldn't really pinpoint something. Look, I can take stick for it, because there's certain moments I probably say I should have defended better, but there's nothing I can really say about my teammates. I'll probably just say myself, if anything.
There's now a lot of anger directed towards the manager. Many fans just don't want him to be the manager anymore, to put it bluntly. As a player, when you see that targeted at him, how does that make you feel, and how do you assess the manager's position?
I don't look into what fans say about the manager, but I know I back the manager 100%. I know he got us through moments in the season where everyone thought the season was over and there wouldn't be a title race for us, and he got us back into a title race. But look, I feel like maybe we went into it with maybe the wrong mind, and I back the manager 100%. It's the players that we should take it, because maybe we just didn't do the right job on the pitch, and it's something that we need to improve on.
You said you feel that there could have been more fight maybe coming into these last 3 games. Would you understand why people would question why there would be maybe a lack of fight when there is a title on the line?
Yes, 100% totally, I would understand that. But look, it's something that we knew that it was going to be a fight. I feel like moments in games we had fight. But I feel like it's something that when we do go under, because in football you're going to go, in 90 minutes you're going to struggle in moments in games. I feel like that's something where as a team or a young team we need to grow and understand that if you go through struggle, we stick together and we all defend together, and then when we come out of it, we have opportunities to score, and that's something we need to improve on.
We can imagine what the dressing room was like post-match, but could you describe it? Was it opinionated? Was it quiet? Was it an angry dressing room?
It was more quiet. We were all disappointed in ourselves, and we're all disappointed that we couldn't bring a win to the fans, and we're all disappointed for the last 3 games.
How would you describe Rangers' season?
Is it for a young player, and there's a lot of you in the squad, to come and experience what the pressure at Rangers is that something that takes a while to get used to? Is that something that you think you'll be stronger for that next season as well?
Something that I wouldn't say it takes a while to get used to, but it's something that is hard to get used to. And it's something that you have to live up to, because at the end of the day, you become a professional footballer to play at clubs like the Rangers. And I feel like you need pressure. Pressure makes you play better, and pressure makes you want to do better things and brings out the best of you.
Adam, score to finish, please.
How would you describe Rangers' season? How would you reflect on it?
Look, obviously we started off not the best. We fought back. We came back to bring in, let's say, a bit of joy to the fans, and we had moments where we thought we could be successful, but look, we fell short at the end, and I feel like that's something that we need to look over and improve at. And look, right now I'm just ready for the new season to start, and so we can have a big fight next season.
Man, what do you say to the fans to give them hope for next season? What makes you believe that it can be different?
Look, obviously I apologise to the fans first and foremost, but I feel like there's still a lot of strong players here, young players, and the young players now are going to be in their 2nd season, and now they can show that they're really worth it for the 2nd season, and they're going to fight.
I don't think anybody can comprehend how difficult that is, AK. Fair play to the young man, eh?
Aye. Listen, I'm expecting to hear from my captain there, to be honest with you, Ox, but listen...
No, his turn, AK.
Well, he's not appeared, put it that way, Ox. Fernandez has been put out there in the presser. That's twice he's done them. Romans has done one, Askar's done one, Majovski's done one. I want to hear from your captain, see what he's got to say. But listen, going back to Fernandez, I think he speaks well, I think he means well, but it's just words, mate. And we've heard all the words before.
Actions, aye.
Yeah, we need actions, correct.
So hard, mate. So hard to get put out there after a game.
Oh, absolutely.
Aye, and what did they think? They were all right. You might have some 2 players might fall out, but 9 times out of 10, Bridgeman, when you've lost a game of football at any level, the team that's lost the game, the dressing room's quiet, innit?
Well, apart from big mouths like me on the pitch, in the dressing room, I'm shouting and bawling at them anyway, irrespective. But no, I get what you're saying. And normally, there's a lot of players don't want to speak at all at half time. They just don't want to speak if we're not winning. If you're winning, it's a different game, then everybody's chatty, and it's very good. But a lot of them are down and want somebody to pick them up. And it's the job of the captains, and I've been a captain a long time. So go in and just batter them and things like, verbally, and get them wound up a bit and get them back on, ready for the second half starting. It's very difficult, and I sympathise greatly with players, because I've been involved in a lot of dressing rooms when some of the players are nearly crying, simply because they think they've played well and get beat, you know. And we know we've done that ourselves all the time, you know. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, I listened to their big centre half there, and I thought, what a good speaker he is. What a good speaker. But as AK says, not really saying too much different from
No,
what
there's
people have said
always
before.
a lot of cliches in football's
Yeah.
interviews, you know. There's always, you know, we get that. But fair play to him, such a young man. He came into the spotlight. He was playing with Peterborough. He's playing with your club. It's night and day, AK.
Oh, of course, it's a massive step up in scrutiny and opportunity. And I think the young man's realised that. Again, the start to his Rangers career wasn't exactly setting things on fire, because he was getting frozen out and he wasn't getting the opportunity, and there was question marks over his transfer. Why was he not getting the opportunity earlier in the season? But we can see the qualities that he's got. He's still raw. He's still got a lot to learn, but he's got attributes there that can give him a successful career in the future. Where his future lies is anybody's guess. But listen, he carries himself well. He speaks well. He sounds as if he's got a good attitude. But we need 20 of the guys in the dressing room. You need a bit to show a bit more out in the park, a bit of heart, a bit of desire. You know, the winning mentality that you need to play for our club. I think by that, the culture of that winning mentality has been diluted over the years, and just with the lack of success. So we need to start winning, and we need to start showing what it means to play for our club, because the support deserve it. The loyalty that we gave to the club over the years, you know, we're all getting disheartened, and we're all arguing with each other, this and that. But see, at the end of the day, we all want Rangers to win and be successful.
Aye. Listen, it's a good point you mentioned about Fernandes. You know, he is raw and experienced. Take away the goalkeeper, who might have a bad back at the moment, you know what I mean? But you think about the goalkeeper, that whole spine of that team yesterday, you know, the midfielders, I know Barron's no young, but, you know, he's still relatively, he's no near 30 of that. There's Diamandi, Tucci, Chermiti, the two centre-halves. That sits up the middle of the park. There ain't a lot of experience there, or old heads, or, you know, do we lack experience, Bridgman, or is it too simplistic?
Well, yeah, we do lack experience for a Rangers team, because we all say it every week. We all say it. We're expecting our players to go and win. And to win in our league, you need people with heart and experience. And if you can get somebody with both, you know, then you're laughing. You know, and if they can stand out, it'd be brilliant. And that young lad, Fernandes, as AK pointed out, he hardly kicked a ball for 2 months or 3 months, you know. And all of a sudden, we're expecting wonders from him. I've been screaming for him to play right for the start of the season. He's 6'5" or 6'4". What are we doing with him sitting on the bench? It's nonsense. He came in. I thought he did very well, and I hands up to him. I'll tell you, hats off to him. And he's looking forward to next season now. You can tell that. Very enthusiastic for next season. So for them, probably the pressure's off in that sense. They've only got 2 games to go, and what are they going to do with them? They're going to have to go and win them, you would think. But if they don't win, they don't win. It doesn't matter to them. End of the season. So a very difficult position to put themselves in. Again, we've got young players, we've got a young squad. We need to be able to add experience in there. Get the thing mixed with experienced players. Sorry.
Get the blend right.
That's it, pal.
Fergie's 5 boys said, back in the day, that famous 5, if you like, AK, they had experience running about them. I'm not saying you want the blend, and if somebody comes in and he's an exceptional player at 21 and he's the answer, I'm all for it. But usually in certain positions, centre back, midfield, you do need a bit of experience, all heads. You also need legs in there as well. You need both. But it's getting the blend right and building a team, AK, just before we go to the tournament.
Just quickly, it's a good point, and it's 100% factor. Thinking back to that Man United team, you'd Schmeichel in goals, Bruce, Pallister, Cantona, Brian Robson, McLaren, that, so they had a spine to the team for the youngsters to grow, as we've had other the seasons as well with Gorham and Goff and Brown. You need that spine to be solid and talk the youngsters through the game. But that's a good point you make there, Ox.
Get yourself in mute, because we're going to have a tune.
Sure, I am an Ulster Orangeman, from Erin's Isle I came to see my British brethren of honour and of fame, and to tell them of my forefathers who fought in days of yore, that I might have the right to wear the sash my father wore. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours, they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Aughrim, Enniskillen, and the Boyne. My father wore it as a youth in bygone days of yore, and on the 12th I love to wear the sash my father wore. For those brave men who crossed the Boyne have not fought or died in vain. Our unity, religion and laws and freedom to maintain. If the call should come, we'll follow the drum and cross that river once more, so that tomorrow's Ulster man may wear the sash my father wore. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours, they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Aughrim, Enniskillen, and the Boyne. My father wore it as a youth in bygone days of yore, and on the 12th I love to wear the sash my father wore. And when someday across the sea to Antrim shore you come, we'll welcome you in royal style to the sound of flute and drum. And Ulster's hills shall echo still from Rothlin to Dromore, as we sing again the loyal strain of the sash my father wore. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours, they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Aughrim, Enniskillen, and the Boyne. My father wore it as a youth in bygone days of yore, and on the 12th I love to wear the sash my father wore.
While you are sitting listening on your own, why not take part and give us a phone? We would love to hear your points of view, so get off your bum and call 0141 356 1972.
Well, welcome back to everybody who popped out while that tune was on. I wonder who they were, AK. I wonder it.
Well, the rest has enjoyed it. Well done, Fox.
Aye, look, we've got to cut to the chase. We've lost 3 games in a row, yeah. The manager, at any time, any manager at Rangers is going to get flack when you lose 3 games in a row. In the circumstances where we are in the season, that's going to be multiplied even more, mate. Yeah. I believe it's the first time it's happened since Doug Advocat was a manager. We've lost 3 league games in a row, yeah. Which is, I didn't realise that, mate. When I heard that yesterday, I was quite surprised, yeah. I remember we had that bad run in his last season, just around about October time before, October, November time in the league before Big McLeish came in 2002, I think. 2002, would that be right? 2001, maybe?
Aye, 2001, I think, maybe.
Aye.
In fact, I think we actually finished third that season, I know. Hearts split us in Celtic, so it's history repeating itself there too. But listen, we're in a far different place now. McLeish had a wee bit of constraints because we were downsizing with finances and players and things like that, and we were in a different place. But McLeish managed to work his kind of magic, and I think won a cup double. That right? His kind of first year. So we can recover.
He won 5 out of 6 trophies, didn't he?
He did, but he knew the league. He knew the club. He knew the league. He knew the club. So he had, and he had far better players than Danny Rose and got his disposal.
Maybe not them all, but the vast majority of them were better players, you know. Amaruso was still playing then. He was in goal. Stephen Kloss still being in goal. Obviously, Cotterman had come in. It was the Craig Moore, and then you had Arthur Newman at left back. Different players at right back. You know, Barry Ferguson, Rickson, midfield. You know, Lovencrantz up front. Obviously, Michael Moles was injured for a bit of the time, but still played a Flo was still there. De Boer was there. Different level, yeah. Different level.
Oh, definitely. He brought in Canadian that, I know, didn't he?
Aye. But what I'm also going back to our manager, I'm not hiding for the fact, mate. It doesn't matter who you are or how long you've been in the door. You don't win games or football matches. You're going to upset supporters. People will question you. They'll question your tactics. I critique and question what I think about selection. I mean, take on who else? I don't think he can play Scove Olsen. So maybe he tries Ant-Man, thinking he gives his legs. It didn't work. Ant-Man didn't influence it. I don't think he's influenced a lot, really. Maybe the boys lost his confidence. Tav's legs have gone. I thought that was a bad move. That's only my view. Other people might have been happy that Tav starts in front of Sterling. I don't think Sterling's the best fullback in the world. I really don't. I've seen it on here a lot. But I think he's got more pace and power than Tav's got. He hasn't got the forward attributes that Tav's got, but he did score. Apart from making Moore's goal, we scored my last goal we scored.
Aye, very true at Tynecastle, aye. But listen, I was at the Motherwell game and I thought Sterling was awful. And that half is as bad as I've seen him as well. So he's gave opportunities to most of the team. You're probably the only ones that are going, give me a chance. You would be talking Ant-Man. You would also be talking Bizrami. I don't understand why he's left him out in the cold. Obviously, they made decisions as well with Finlay Curtis. In hindsight, is that a mistake? Aye, because the wee man's been fine, but would he have got the game time and the less pressure where he wasn't expecting? He's got a run of games here at Kilmarnock, so he's had some decent game time. He's obviously grown into a role. He's embraced a new club, the new environment, and he should be coming back a far better player. So in hindsight, for us as a club, we could have kept him, we should have kept him, but for his development as a player, I think we've been selfless. We're letting him go to Kilmarnock to develop his talent there. So I still don't have an issue with that, although Scove Olsen has been a major disappointment. And I expect a lot more out of him.
I've got to say something here, and I think I've mentioned something before. That bit of business between Olsen and Finlay Curtis, mate, that's arguably the best bit of business we've done for years. And I'll tell you why. Don't laugh at me, please. Yeah? Right?
I'll try not to.
Right. In the past, mate, we would have signed Skull Wolves and they gave him a 3.5-year contract on X amount, and we'd been left with that. Finlay Curtis would have been sitting on our bench for most of the time clicking his heels, and he's maybe moved on as a player. So that might prove to be correct as well. For Rangers, in the big picture, not in the little picture, he arguably he might have gone yesterday, he might have gone late on. I don't think he'd have started. He might have done after Olsen's poor performance last week. You know what I mean? But I think that boy's come on, and fair credit to him, because we all know he's got a tremendous attitude. You can see it. The way he plays the game, he's a team player, he works hard. Things seem to happen when the boy's on the pitch. It might be he's just got this knack that some people have got and some people haven't. But the boss seems to follow you, and you think, oh, how does that happen to him all the time? You know? And the other one, mate, and I'll say it again, the fact that we never gave Scott Olsen a 3.5-year contract is arguably one of the best bit of business we've done. When you look at it, mate, and we tried before we buyed, and God, we got it right with that one. AK then, Bridge.
Aye. No, you're right. You're right in essence. I don't know if you caught the highlights of Kilmarnock's game at the weekend, but the wee man scored 2 cracking goals, very similar. On his right foot, coming in for the left, and he just passed it into the net. So even now, he's shown a bit of maturity there in his finishing. So I'm looking for good things out of him. But again, it's a lot of pressure on a young guy, which we put on Mikey Moore. It's unfair. So the rest of the team's got to step up. So there's going to be big changes in the summertime with recruitment, with players, with personnel, and possibly manager. Who knows? But it's a big season ahead. And we've really got to start getting things right now, Ox, because we're throwing far too much money at it, and we're getting emotionally invested in our season tickets, an upgrade on them. And, 98% have already took them up on it. So the support are doing their bit again. But listen, I'll be at the game on Wednesday, still there supporting my team. I'm pretty sure there'll be others joining me.
Bridgman, get back to the manager. You lose 3 games at Rangers at any time in the league, 3 in a row, mate. Particularly in the run into the end of the season, mate, when you're in the driving seat, close to being in the driving seat, we're 1 point behind, and people are going to ask questions. The managers always carry the can in the mad world that's football, mate.
Yeah, you feel for the manager as you would feel for any manager, but even more so, he's only in the place since when, November or something like October, November. Very, very difficult. Was it before that? Was it before October?
Oh, it was October they came in, mate.
Let's say it was October up to now. And he said it's been kind of up and down, and he had a really good patch there from Christmas roughly up to about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago there. So I don't think Rowe is going to be at Rangers. I think it'll be finished at the end of the season. I think that's what's going to happen, sadly, because our club is desperate to get shall we say, scores on the doors. That's what we're not getting scores, and we're not getting very many scores anyway, and we're not getting any points with it. And there you go, we need to do it. So I think he'll take the blame, or he'll be given the blame for that. Whether in fact that's the correct thing or no, I don't know. But I think that's what will happen, and I think he'll be asked to leave, or told to leave, should I say. And that might cost us a few quid.
Well, that's the other vicious circle you're on. Look, that could well happen, Bridge. That could well happen. I'm listen. From my personal point of view, Bridge, my personal point of view, I don't know how good a manager Daniel could be or will be, because we've only say he signed 4 players. When they're all in the part and they've been fit, they've looked okay. But you need to see them over a longer period of time to make up your mind. And I think Romans looks the best out of the 4 we've brought in. One of them looks a flop. Scott Wilson just looks as if he's not up to it. So we've no signed him, thankfully. But if you don't win games of football, you're always going to be under pressure. You can't get away from it. And it doesn't really matter. We can speculate all we want. We can make our mind up. People made their mind up months ago that they didn't think Danny Rowe was the right lad. Some people made their mind up the day he walked in the building. And they're entitled to do that. However, there's only one. There's only a group of people, and that's the board of directors. They'll have the final say in where we go and where we go. And if he does go forward, and hopefully I hope he does, there's part of me hopes he does, and he gets his own players in, it's whether they're successful. And if they're not successful, and we don't win a number of football matches like anybody else, they get AK. He'll get his books because that's the industry we're in.
Aye, absolutely. It's cutthroat, because it's the amount of money that's in it. It's the pressured environment, what's at stake here. As I say, Andrew Cavan has come into the club and spent tens of millions already, and he's not getting a great return for his money. A lot of it's been his decisions with trusting Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell to bring in the likes of Russell Martin. That was his era. He's owned his era. He's had to sack Oiren to then go down a different route. Again, we meant to be in the process of interviewing Kevin Muscat and Stephen Gerrard and Danny Roll. Danny Roll pulled out for whatever reason and then come back into the equation. But he is a young manager. Young managers have got to start somewhere in the game. They get better with experience, but you need to get that experience. You know, Sir Alex started staying in Spear, St Mirren, Aberdeen, before he ends up Man United. You've got a Frank Lampard situation. He's done very well with Coventry this year. You've got Cesc Fabregas and Como in Italy, learning his trade, and you've also got Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. But you've got to have balls of steel. The managers there, the people that's shelling out the money, to stick with a guy just because a large section of your support is disgruntled because of the lack of success that they're bringing to the club. But in essence, what are the Arsenal supporters saying now when they're on the verge of making history there? So it's a gamble, regardless, Ox, and I'm sure they're going to have honest discussions.
Yeah, and listen, you're at your club, right or wrong, when you host three games, you're going to be under scrutiny. Whether it was Walter, Dick Advocat, he lost his job in that run, mate. Yeah, and look what he had the bank. Obviously, he spent a lot of money. You know, you're going to be under scrutiny, and I'm not trying to defend Danny Rowe. I'm just saying that's factual. If you've been on a good run and won a couple of trophies, you went in the run East came at the end of the year, people are going to question you, whether you like it or no. Anyway, we've been joined by Josh. Evening, Josh.
Hi, good evening, Ox. He's all right?
Hi, I'm all right.
Hi, Josh.
Hiya. Look, excuse me, Danny Rowe's only been in the job 7 months. Yeah, that's all he's been in. I think the disgruntlement has came by the results. And as you keep on harping on about it, and you're right, Ox, it's the last three results, Hearts, Motherwell and Celtic. And that's what's done it for the support. He's heightened everybody up to a crescendo, and he's just burst a bubble on everybody. But I'm sure if he is giving time next season, and it's no for us to say, as you say, it's the board of directors and Kavanagh. Personally, I think he's a nice guy. I think he's still got a lot to learn. I think he's been through into the deep end, and he's no had his own squad yet. He's not been able to pick his own players or nothing. He's been given crap. Let's face it, crap to play with, and he's done remarkable since October, right up to the now. And do I have any hatred for him? Do I have any despise for him? Do I want him to leave? No, I want him to be a success because I can see the potential there. I can see there's potential there for the guy, and I want him to be the Rangers manager because who else are we going to get? Who else are we going to get? Stephen Gerrard? I don't want to go down that road again. Took him 3 years to get us a title. He's just as bad. Sir Alex Ferguson was 1 game away from the sack, and he never won Manchester United a league title after nearly 5 years he was at Manchester United, and it was one game against Nottingham Forest, I think it was, and if they never won, he was getting the sack. And there's a manager now that is the best manager that's ever lived, Sir Alex Ferguson. One game before the sack, and we can rhyme on off every other manager in Scotland in the football history. I mean, he needs to get given time, I think. And I think everybody is a wee bit upset and heartbroken and all that kind of stuff, because we're all passionate about Rangers. But I'm sure if he's given time and he gets the right players in, I think he'll be a success. I think he will be a success. But if he needs to get... That's what I hope for as well, Ox. That's what I hope for as well. I hope so.
My concerns know about Danny Rowe. I want him to do well because he's your manager. My concerns with football club. So the guys that's owning it and running it, they've got to bring players in. And obviously the managers get some input in that, AK. Yeah, and to answer, so only time will tell. You know, and if you don't win football matches, you're going to get questions. And the pressure's going to grow. And eventually that twig will snap. It's as simple as that, Bridge, isn't it?
Oh yes. I think although most of us like Danny Rowe, I don't think he can be trusted to do anything now, insofar as Rangers are concerned. He's been given rein and he's done well. He got us into a position where, here, look guys, you get 5 games to go. Go out there and win all the games, you'll win as a league. Simple as that, you'll win as a league. And I'm afraid these players didn't do it for him properly. It might even have been his selections that might have been a bit iffy at times. But to me, in all honesty, I look at it and think we don't have a strong enough squad of players. In fact, when you look at the squad, most of them are never going to play again for Rangers. If you follow me, so it's quite difficult. He's in a really difficult position. But we didn't have enough. His selection of the players and the way he wanted to play his football haven't kicked in for him at all. This for the split, and he's let themselves down big style.
I don't know if I like the preferred 4-2-3-1. I don't know if I like it, but that's up for debate for another time. I'm sure we can debate that another time. Where we were a few weeks ago, Josh, we were in a decent place. You're right. He matched us up in the hill and the bubbles popped out the balloon. And it started against Motherwell. What I can't understand is how we can't put... Yeah, you'll not dictate the ball for 90 minutes, even when you win a game 5 or 6-0. And if again, when everything goes for you. But we haven't played in 2 halves regular. It seems to be... It's a head scratcher, isn't
it? The problem I see is we're not playing as a team, we're playing as individuals. We're playing as individuals, and that doesn't get you winning football games. And getting back to Bridgman, this isn't Danny Rowe's team. Team, Bridgman. It's not his team, so he's been left, and most of these players that are in our club has been handed over from manager to manager to manager to manager to manager. Get on with it. And that's the problem with our club. Look at Tav. He's been here 10 years, or maybe a wee bit more. He's had more managers than anybody. Passing the buck to manager to manager to manager. And now Danny Rose in this situation now, a young manager, 38 years of age, has been thrown into the deep end and went, get on with it. That's unfair. That's no fair in my eyes. You can't blame Danny Rowe for that. You cannot blame Danny Rowe for that.
Are you saying you think he was too inexperienced to get your job, mate? Is that the point?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, you need to give him the time. Everybody has to get given the time to progress. It's not his team. He's not. He doesn't. Do you know what I mean?
Well, on the park yesterday, there was 2 signings. the other 9 players, he's no input in AK. That's fact, isn't it? Plus everybody on the bench, because apart from Scott Wilson. So, but the 20 that were selected yesterday, he'd input in 15%, mate. Josh is right. It's not his team, is it?
No, and Josh is also right. And I said in it earlier, Josh, I don't know if you heard.
I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd say that on here, AK. Josh is right, but carry on, mate.
There's a first for everything. Southside gets a Super 6 up, and all of a sudden we start collapsing, Ox. It would have been better if. No, but no, listen, Gio took our Gerrard's players, and Bill took our Gio's players, and Clermont took our. And you're right, Josh, and so it carries on. The problem that I have, Ox, and again, it's just expanding on Josh's point. For 2012, when all the kind of trouble started, how many permanent managers did we have in that 130 year of history? It was about 11, 12, 13, something like that. You're talking now 10 managers in the last 11 years, or there's 8 or 9 permanent managers. And the problem with that is it dilutes the position as Rangers manager, because instead of going to the top of the chair where it's appealing for somebody, because somebody will go, right, I know I'm going to get at least 3-4 years at that club, it becomes a Chelsea scenario or a Spurs scenario where you've got to hit the ground running. I know, but the most successful clubs, they don't chop and change their managers. Real Madrid being the exception, right enough. but the rest of them, you're getting a time, money, patience, support, the lot that a manager needs. The problem with chopping and changing is many managers, and particularly going young, the project route. Fergie was a young manager, Russell Martin, Rowe, Bale. The stature gets low. Gerrard is the stature as a player, as a leader, but he didn't have the experience as a coach. So he had to have people run about him experience. Gio, I thought, carried himself well, even though he was a young guy. Clermont, for me, and I know you disagree with me, but I think we were too hasty in sacking Clermont when we did, because he had the experience, he had the.
I like Philip Clermont, mate. I like Philip Clermont, but I thought what I'll say is I didn't think there was any way back after the.
I know what you're saying, but see if we'd have stuck with Hammocks, I think we'd been in a far better position than now.
And by the way, you might be 100% right, mate. I think you could be 100% right. I'm not arguing with that point of view, but the point I'm making, I like Philip Clermont, but I didn't think there was any way back. There's something we can't get right. The turnover of players, the recruitment, we don't have any consistency. Listen, if you look at it, you take Tarvin Butland out of that team yesterday. Nobody has been there that long. It was on the pitch for us. All these failings we keep talking about, if it was the same players, Josh, I would understand it. But pretty much, it's a different group of players. The 3 at the back 4. Let me think. Hardly played at that place. Tucci, that was his debut at that place. Obviously, Chermiti, we remember him. Ant-Man, it was definitely, he might have come on before. I don't think he did come on at that game. So, it's a new group of players with the same old failings. But the manager, if you don't win football matches in this modern world with football, if you at any club, mate, you're going to be under speculation. If this 3, 4, 5 goes into next season, mate, you might get time, you might get players in, and the reality is, if you don't start winning, you'll be under more pressure, Josh, and you'll go quite quickly. That's the reality. It might not be right, but that's the reality.
Well, that is right, to be honest. And Clermont was another one that got through under the bus as well. He had nobody upstairs. He was doing everything himself, as we managing the club, with managing the players and all that kind of stuff as well. He was the only one there, if you remember. I agree with AK. If we stuck by Clermont, we would be in a far better place than now. This is becoming a first between me and him, but it has to happen anyway.
Is this a bromance starting?
That has to be. I'll need to take him out for a pint and a dinner and all that kind of stuff and get to know him better.
Take him out for a dinner, mate.
Or a vodka.
But getting back to your point, right? So, like, I know, and especially in Scotland, because the final outcome is second best is no good enough. You need to win the league because it's a two-horse race. This is a season out with us any other season, because Hearts have came popping up for anywhere like a Leicester City, but finishing third, I wouldn't be surprised if they sacked him, but I don't want them to sack him, because I don't want to go down that road of sacking him and then get somebody else, and then the exact same thing happens next season, and then we're all calling for his head. And as AK said, we've only had 10 managers, but we've over doubled that since Sir Walter Smith finished with the club. If you look down all the managers since Walter Smith, I think it was 2011, 2012, we've had double, 13, 14 managers or something. I think it is. Maybe a wee bit less than 12, 13 or 14 managers, I think. I've not looked up, but I know
Alan McCoy's permanent managers, right? Alan McCoy's, Mark Warburton. You had Murty and you had Stuart McCall that done it interimly, but Alan McCoy. And then after Warburton, Coutinho. Wow. Yeah? Wow.
Aye.
And then you had Murty again, but forget about him. And then Stevie G came in. Stevie G, Giovanni. Oh, come on. Sorry, Giovanni. Beale. Come on. And then nine managers. 9 managers in 14 years. For different reasons. You know what I mean? You know, and by the way, AK, you make a point about Clement. He might have got that time if he'd have got some decisions, mate, yeah?
But the guy was doing everything himself.
Josh,
he was the only person at the club.
Your name's no AK. AK?
I never heard of AK. Sorry, I never heard of
That's
AK.
all right, mate.
No bother, Josh. A wee second.
You
No,
never
I just
heard of
put
AK, did
something
you
in
say? Josh, did you say you never heard of AK?
I just put something in the chat there. Clement, for me, was cheated in 2 of the cup finals. Remember when Seamer's goal got chopped off with Raskin meant to cuddling Joe Hart, and then the more out than in decision for Frank Connor in that with Cherney. So see if he wins 2 cups and he's got 3 cups in the bank, as a support, as knee jerk to get rid of him, is what they were. I don't think so.
He would have still been here, AK, if we won the 2 cups. And that was a penalty, the mere outside and the inside, because it was the inside more than the outside. So if we won the 2 cups, I agree with you. Clement would have still been the Rangers manager right now, and God knows where he would have took us. But it was left to get on with himself. There was no board of directors, no nothing. Upstairs was empty. Upstairs was empty, and the guy was doing everything himself, and the pressure that must have been on himself must have been magnanimous. Do you know what I mean? I wish I liked Clement. I really did like Clement. I know he's at the end. He started like talking like the same old rubbish all the time. But as a manager, he done his best for us. And as AK said, if we got that cup double, he would have still been Rangers manager. And I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Well, what I will say is, in different circumstances, in different times, Did Radrica had a lot of credit in the bank, and he went on that run that Danny Rose went off. We were still in Europe, I believe, yeah. And it was a slightly different format. I think that was a year we went through with PSG. That was one of his last games. I think Advocat on penalty kicks that night, but it was one of his last games. I might be wrong, But if you don't win league games, you're under pressure, and that's the same for any manager. And if you have your big pebbles in the sand that come along and smack your big pebbles in the pool, and that was the Queen's Park game, which is arguably one of the worst results in the history. There's going to be a reaction, and we never won after that. And people just think enough. And the forum wasn't great, but they accept that what come on was had today that season was atrocious by our club. Our club. We let them do. I think that's fair, Bridget. We let them do.
Yeah, but I think the club does that, doesn't it? And it's not impersonal. I don't think it's impersonal. I think the club just have to do something different and make a decision that may spiral out of control. And based on what you guys are saying, when they decided to move Clement on, then you guys didn't like it. And I'm not saying anybody liked it, but you guys thought it was bad and the wrong one, and are quite vociferous about it now. I was a big fan of Clement when it came in. I thought he was doing quite well, and then I thought, similar to what happened to previous managers now, he just ran out of luck. Things went against him, including the SFA and the SPFL and their refereeing. All the things went wrong against us for him. So that's what I believe, and it was going to happen. Even though it still wasn't winning games the way it should have been or the way it had been. And it's, you can't do it in the Scottish Premier League now. You just can't do it. We're looking for a manager to come in, make a good team out of the players that we've got. And sometimes you can't do that, so you need to buy. And he's got to be able to buy with confidence, shall we say, from the board, that we can do that. And just the old adages what we used to do. You need to get a manager that can do all that. And that's what we're looking for, in my opinion. We're really looking for a manager that can do all that. I don't think Danny Rowe can do all that. He's had a good, let's say, about 9 months or something like that. He's had a good run for 9 months. And my honest opinion, I mean this sincerely. So sorry, Danny, but I don't think Danny Rowe is going to get us another point this season. I just don't see it. I think he's had terrible luck. His team's had terrible luck, and that might be down to his selections. I don't know. But I think he's just, you can see him shriveling up on the sidelines. You can see it. His face was brilliant when Rangers scored the goal and went 1-up on Saturday. Sunday, and when the equaliser went in, and then all of a sudden, second half, we just seemed to fall apart for a while. And that killed us, and it killed him. That's my honest opinion.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. If Danny Rowe stays, I wish him nothing but the best. I want him to win every football match without doomsday. You know.
Oh, 100%. As I say, it depends what Andrew Kavanagh and the board of directors see the future. If they decide that Danny Rowe's no the man that they thought he was going to be, and they go in a different direction, then I'll support them. You know, I just want to see Rangers winning. We all want to see Rangers winning, but I mean, there's a lot of young managers there that we've tried in the last decade there, and I'm in agreement. I see a lot of forums, I hear a lot of pods, and I listen to a lot of opinions, yourselves included. Our job is one for a kind of a manager. You know, he's the figurehead of the club. He's the face of the club. Used to a Walter, you know, he knew where it was, but he was a rookie manager, and David Murray took a chance on him. But he grew up. He had the credentials as a coach with Jim McLean and got away with Scotland, and they learned the role. But he also was the figurehead. You know, the guy that we all looked up. He was a safe pair of hands that he turned out to be that way. You need to carry yourself in a certain way out of our club. Jock Wallace is the same for you, Ox. Again, a guy who learned the ropes off of Willie Waddle, but he had that stature to, you know, fill the job. Does Danny Rowe have that? There is question marks out there, because his nationality is German. He's no brought up in the British style of football. He gets the kind of club because he's worked at a big club with Bayern Munich, but does he have the stature to fill that role where the support need to trust the manager on the decisions? And that's where a lot of people are clouded with their judgment. And personally, I think a David Moyes would be brilliant, but I don't think we're going to get him. I know there's still talk of Derek McInnes and that, and he's done a fantastic job for Hearts. But there's also, I mean, nobody can agree, but it's down to Andrew Cavanagh. I don't know where they're going to go, whether they're going to stick or twist. There's a growing percentage say that they must twist on Danny Rowe, and if they do, then we're going to go back to square one again and see where it takes us.
At this moment in time, I don't think that's the right decision, but it could still happen. And if you don't win games on Wednesday night, the pressure will just grow. Just AK, you asked me for the team against Queen's Park under Clement, yeah?
Aye, it'd be interesting to hear it. I'm sure we picked a good team.
It was Liam Kelly in goals, Tavernier, Fernandez, the centre half, no, that one, the different one, yeah. Proper, Jeffrey, yeah. Diamandi, Bale, Rice, Tierney, Benjami, Hadji, and Igaman. That was the starting 11. Substitutes that come on were Dessers, Raskin at 45 minutes. Then Suter for Fernandez in 60 minutes. Ridvan, 61 minutes for Hadji, and then Tom Lawrence come on in the 86th minute. So there was enough experience on there. It wasn't a team of young boys or that, yeah. So arguably, but he carried the can for that. He always will, always will. Bad major bad results, you carry the can. Giovanni, the pressure mounted on him because we took a few downs that we never thought would happen. We didn't think we'd see it. We did. And he paid the price for that along with, because you don't get domestics. I think if Philip Clement would have won the game after at Ibrox when he lost to St Mirren 2-0, mate, it might have been, history might have been different. I think that catalyst and Tapperat, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back because of the Queen's Park game, mate. But listen, I don't dislike Big Philip, and I think a lot of the things he's have said tonight is correct. Josh, where do we go for here, mate?
I don't know. We can all have our opinions. We can all have our views. We can all have our discussions. But at the end of the day, it's up to the directors in it and Kavanagh. These guys are winners for the American football franchise. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I don't know if there's going to be a full house on Wednesday. There's reports and all that saying that there's only going to be about 20 or 30,000 turning up.
And they might well be correct, because people aren't going to move hell or high water to get there, because it's a bounce game now. It becomes a bounce game, rightly or wrongly, whatever way you want to perceive it. I wouldn't judge if somebody, because they've travelled from Northern Ireland, say for that game on a Wednesday night. Some of them have already made their plans, of course, because they thought things could have been so much differently a few weeks ago.
No, of course. I mean, a couple of weeks ago when Motherwell come to Ibrox, she couldn't get a ticket, but it was just things have just went off the edge of a cliff then. So I'll be there on Wednesday again, Ox. I don't see Ibrox being anywhere near a full house, Josh. But again, as Ox said, that's up to the season ticket holders. That's their choice. But no, I'll be there, supporting my team.
I think that's where we are. Reflects where we are and what's happened in the last couple of weeks. Bridge, I'm being honest. I don't listen. It could have been so much different. There could have been 20,000 outside trying to get tickets for it, mate.
Yeah, and we've seen that before. No, I think that the fans, I think the game of the weekend there is sort of settled the fans into, shall we say, accepting what's going to happen, but don't have anything to do with it, if you follow me. There's a big chunk of them. And I would suggest probably the best part of 15,000 won't turn up. Season ticket holders as well, they won't turn up. So it's going to be tough for the club, because it's not just the money they get, because they've got the money for the season ticket, but it's the food and drink and so on and so forth that comes in. and the shop being open, all that. So that's 15,000 bodies that might have bought something, or a crowd of them anyway. And you look, I'm no, I give my critique as much as I can. And in all honesty, I want every Rangers man, I don't care who he is, I want him to win. I want the team who puts out in that park to win with style as possible and as many goals as possible. But I'll always accept a 1-0 because it's the best thing to happen to us when it's low. If it's a low one and we get 1-0, it means nobody scored against us and we can never beat, and so on and so forth. We're at 3 points. That's where I come from. I want everything to be right for Rangers. I want everything to be right with the players, and I want the players to play their heart out for the club and the manager. And we want a good manager. But Danny Rowe, I'll honest God say, I don't think he'll be here next season. But good luck to the guy, because he's going to continue on then. If he is, he's going to continue on, and he's going to get me 100% support from me, 100%.
You're only getting your opinion, Bridge. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, I keep saying it, if you don't win football matches, you'll be under pressure. That's the way the game is. You know, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I wish we'd had 1 day 3 games with a Bridge man. Might have all been in the same ward, but at least we'd be happy, yeah.
Absolutely. My God. Just say, I was going to say, all right, Paul, all right.
On you go, Bridge. On you go, Bridge.
No, carry on, please. Okay, come on.
All right, okay. No, listen, it is what it is. As you say, results don't lie. The 3 defeats has totally killed us, deflated us, but we need to pick ourselves up and we go again. As I say, what direction we're going to go in now is again the decision. Repeating ourselves, I know, but the squad needs a quite a mega overhaul again. It's a new direction. It's a new, fresh approach. We've got a fresh captain in there. Could that make a difference? Could we bring in a couple of experienced players, as you say, in the spine of the team? You know, Davy Weir was brilliant for our defence a few years ago. Stephen Davis, when we brought them in, you know, you need the characters in the team, but you also need reliable 8 out of 10 performers every week. And Jack Butland started the season pretty well, and he's now. What would your overall score be for Jack Butland? You'd be lucky if you're a 5 out of 10 for him now, the way the season's transpired. And he's a big voice in the dressing room too. But we need winners in that dressing room, and we don't have enough of them. People who have won at our club and for previous clubs. I think that's also a big factor. It's down to character, it's down to mentality, whatever you want to throw at it. But the only people who can answer it is the players themselves. So they've got a lot to carry on their shoulders next year again, and we go again.
It's difficult to get winners in, mate, because to recruit winners, mate, it's a small percentage of the pool you're shopping at. You know, because there's only X amount win every year, no? You know what I mean? It's getting you need that luck to get the right person in who's got the right attitude and the right skill set and is good at his particular job in the football team. You know, we've got players that have, you know, if you take Diamondi, for instance, Josh, and yesterday, he does things in that football park, you go, wow, how did you manage that? And then you watch him, he can't pass it and he can't hit it. You know, they've all got small, different flaws in their game.
Come on, Oxford.
It's true, isn't it?
You make me laugh.
He goes down in that
It's
ball,
absolutely
and he
right.
goes
That's true as
you
well.
scratch your head, you think, that was wonderful. And then the next move, he gets the ball and there's a pass and he can't make a pass. You know, they've all got flaws in their game. And we've brought them in and they're young, and you think, well, if they kick on, at times you'll move them on for a profit. But I think we're going to have to think to bring in people who are going to be able to do their job, not always with potential. We're going to have to get it slightly different. They both things, Josh. They're slightly different. I thought, what was his name? The one at Rothwell. I thought at the start when we signed him, I thought, oh, that makes sense. I thought an experienced pro, keep us going in the midfield. Well, how wrong was that, mate? So that doesn't always work out in the air. You just need a bit of luck with your signings, mate, and that's the difficult thing.
It's like everything else, but Diamondi is a bit of an enigma. He can be good, and then he can be rotten, and then you just scratch your head and go.
On the same game, mate.
Aye. Constantly. I think there was a period there when we were in Europe. He was one of our best performers, to be honest, because he was digging in and making himself known to the opposition and all that kind of stuff. What a wee bit of dig, but he's went off the radar, and so have quite a lot of them, sadly, Alt. But I think we just need to see this season out, and hopefully whoever comes in, if it's Danny Rowe or whoever comes in, we just get behind the manager. And if it is Danny, we get behind him, and hopefully he gets the recruitment right, and we can take it for there. But I just don't want us to go down this road where repetitive managers every season because we fail and all that. Because it's no doing us any good, because then you're splashing more cash and multi-millions of pounds to a new manager in the hope that he gets it right if it's no Danny, and then you're going to go for there on and on and on and on. You're better just signing a manager up for about 2 or 3 years and giving him that period, because that's the time period that you need. Gerard won is the league in 3 years. 3 years is an appropriate, applicable time for a manager to get things right, and to be honest, 18 months he should be up and running, and it's all down to luck, as you say. It's all down to luck, and if we get the right players with the manager, then we can hit the ball, hit the ground running, and we might be up there challenging next season.
And we might touch on it tomorrow night, and a lot of that I can't argue with, Josh. But you've also got to deal with the other thing we've got to deal with is the biasness and the missed calls that's happening in a lot of football matches, and with the Scottish officials, aka, if you want to call that luck, I don't know if it is.
We've touched on it in a lot of shows over the last few years, and we've highlighted. The Rangers hosted a meeting there with the referees at Ibrox a couple of weeks ago. We're still to find out the results of that. But we just see it every week. It feels like every week, and then we'll get an apology and sorry we got that decision wrong. But the damage is done. We've dropped points, we've lost games, and it's affected the result. They are factors that they sound like excuses, but they're factors. You get back to that Hearts game where Shankland's punching the ball and he gets away. We get a good goal chopped off, and that's a 6-pointer there in itself, Fox. And it's just been game after game after game, and you've got players and managers going, how has that not been given? But I don't know, how do you feel about Danny Rowe's comments saying, I didn't really want to speak about that, because you heard Derek McInnes go, the referees had a terrible game tonight, spoke about him. I think Walter would have took it like that. No, that goal shouldn't stand, that it should have been a red card,
I'm trying to think back about Walter with referees, mate. I need to think about that, mate. I'm trying to think back. You're asking me to think back through memory to see. Yeah, I don't put it this way. I don't think some of them would ask some of the questions that would ask Danny Rowe. Yeah, to Walter. Yeah, I need to think on that one, mate. A good question, yeah.
I remember one time when we had a real batch of the flu. I can't remember what year it was, but we were missing some.
1996, 97, mate. It was Celtic and Hibs we played. That was the famous George Albert strike, and the big Eric Bo Anderson scored twice that night, and I think he scored again at Easter Road. We wanted both games cancelled, mate, because of flu bug. I think we'd been in an Argentinian cruise, mate, with a bug.
Aye. No, but I remember quite scathing Walter in that interview at Easter Road, because he felt it was unfair on his team, and he was quite cutting. The other teams can get games postponed if they get a batch of flu, but the SFA said no, you've got to play it. Things like that. Walter was clever, but he knew he was saying, but he'd a voice of authority, I thought, and I think we miss a manager like that. I'm not sure Danny Rowell's got that perception, to be honest with you.
Maybe the point is where you're brought up, mate. You see things differently, yeah. But anyway, interesting. I'm sure this will drag on for the rest of the season, mate. People will have their views, different views. Some people might feel strongly about it. Understand that everybody's hurting, Josh. I get it. And we'll see where it takes us. Obviously, the season's going to end, and then there's going to be recruitment quite quickly, because it's going to be in tappies before we know it. Always is now. Modern football drags on to the end of May, and then bang, you know what, you're playing friendlies in the start of July. Obviously, the World Cup this year. It's going to be interesting, but it's going to be interesting for different reasons. But nobody will be looking to see who comes in the door, but nowhere a sense of anticipation because of the way this season's ended, and hopefully it can give us put the wind back in ourselves, Josh.
And depending on what European competition we're in,
that's another factor as well.
So if Celtic win the Scottish Cup, I think I heard we're in the Europa instead of the conference, so maybe that'll give us a wee couple of weeks extra to get the players in. But still, the World Cup starts on the 11th of June. But just a wee quick point on the wrong decisions and stuff like that. So who's to say if that goal didn't get chopped off and that tackle, and it's a career-ending tackle, he might have won the ball, but the follow-through went right up high on his calf, the boy's calf, Moore's calf, and that could have destroyed that young boy, and that was a sending off. Who's to say that wouldn't have gave us the impetus to go in and win against 10 men? It's all these wee things that add up that make it difficult for you, kind of thing. And maybe just in the players' mind, they're saying, this isn't running for us. There's so many games. They players might be thinking the way the support is. They think that there's some kind of agenda against us, like Saturday.
What I will say is, I don't think there was anything to get the goals we lost against Motherwell. I don't think that was down to the officials. The 2 goals we lost against Hearts, I don't think were down to the officials. And I don't think there was a lot of controversy in the Hearts game. There is a couple of big calls there at the weekend that could have changed the game. I can't get away from that, but I'm sure we'll debate it as the week goes on. Thanks for that, Josh. Speak to you soon. AK.
Cheers, pal. Thanks.
Aye, thanks again, Josh, for joining us there. I enjoyed it, but to a certain extent, we're getting some stuff off our chest, aren't we? We're disappointed, we're deflated, but we're just wondering where it goes for here. So it's onwards and upwards, and just let's see where the future takes us. But thanks again, Oxley, yourself and Bridge and the Techie team.
Right. Bridgeman.
What can I say?
Final word for your good self, mate. We've done a lot of these, mate. It's never easy, is it?
Oh my goodness! I'm still heartbroken. I can't actually lift myself up to it, But never mind. We're going to carry on. I'm going to try and jump past the next 2 games, and theoretically, or because I know we're going to have to go through them, but they're no counting for me. There's just no counting. That's it. It's killed the season. So I thoroughly enjoyed the night. Great discussion and really good topics too. May I say, it's all about the Rangers. Can I just say to yourself, marvellous, and big AK for looking after me, and of course Josh when he phoned in, and the Techie boys in the background, and to all the Rangers fans that are listening all over the world. I'm sorry. I'm so depressed for this with our team. the moment. But never mind. Everybody, please keep it going for the Rangers. The Rangers need us. They really do. Keep it going.
Yeah, Mooney. A lot of sense in that, Bridgman. A lot of sense in that. Listen, thank you, Josh, for jumping in and joining us. AK and Bridgman for doing the show in difficult circumstances. It always is when we lose a game with them. But in the big picture, it's even bigger the last few weeks. Thanks for the two guys for taking the time to join us here on Rangers Radio. And of course, thanks to Fox and Old School Blood for taking the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10. Sure, the subjects won't change much, and we'll try and look forward to a game at Ibrox against Hibs. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Old School Blood.